So there we go. As we said, Champions League football secured again for next season. Second place finish, all but confirmed. Sue, how important was that? It was a big result, given their recent drop-off in the league, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, and obviously against a Champions League rival as well. So they will have desperately wanted those 3 points. And I thought Newcastle started brilliantly. They obviously played the same system that they did against Chelsea, and I felt like Arsenal took a little bit of time to get used to that. Arsenal then came out in the second half and first sort of 15 or 20 minutes did well, got that goal. But yeah, you just feel, will they be disappointed again to finish second? This season, I thought at the start of the season that this could be their year, that they could go on and win the Premier League. But you could say that they got that consistency of finishing second. It's then next season they're going to have to go and really try and get that Premier League title.
Champions League semi-final, second in the Premier League. 4 or 5 years ago, that had been considered an incredible success for Arsenal. But in the context of what's gone on in the previous 2 seasons, is this campaign a failure?
It's difficult, isn't it, to determine what you'd say is a failure, because from a business perspective, there's been a lot of money earned on the pitch, but the fans don't care about the business side of things. They want medals, they want trophies, they want to make sure that their team is successful. I think probably the biggest or the hardest thing for Arsenal fans to take is that they thought if they could overtake Manchester City, that would be enough. They didn't see Liverpool coming. They didn't realise that it would be Liverpool this year who would win the title. So, I think there'll be whether it's a failure or not. I think it's a failure because you don't win trophies, but on the grand scheme of things, it's been... My big thing when I watch Arsenal is, have they progressed from last year? And I'd say no. I'd say they've gone backwards a little bit. We spoke about it this season. There's not been the same sort of fluidity throughout their season, the way that they've played. I think they've played a different style of football. I think they've relied a lot on the set pieces. I think they've relied a lot on going 1-0 up in a game and sort of sitting back and not really going at teams even more. It's not been successful, I'll go for that.
Yeah, I think it's tough, isn't it? Because I think you look at when Mikel Arteta came in and you'd go, well, of course, we've seen progression since then, haven't we? We've seen Arsenal are competing at the top end of the table. They are looking to go and win the Champions League and things like that. But you look at this season and yeah, too many draws for me.
Yeah.
I think Mikel Arteta came out and said, well, we've had too many red cards, something that they're going to have to look at next season. I think injuries have contributed, injuries to key players, your Saka, your Ødegaard, that sort of right-hand side, Ben White, where we know that they've been really successful. But it's probably too simplistic to say it's just that. I think it's been quite complex, hasn't it, the reasons why they haven't been able to get there. So you just feel if in the summer Mikel Arteta's backed again, they bring in the players that he wants, that's where they are going to have to then go and win something, aren't they?
Interestingly, when you talk about the red cards,
yeah,
I watch Mikel Arteta. I like Mikel Arteta. I think he's a lovely guy. I think he's a good coach, good manager. Is there too much emotion on the sideline? It's very frantic all the time, isn't it? If you watch his technical area, if you ever go to a game and you just watch him, he is literally jumping about up and down. You think, does he push too much emotion onto the players where it spills onto the pitch? I mean, the amount of red cards they've had this year is poor, really poor, and it's cost them a lot of points, which you'd say, would they have been more in a title race? Quite possibly, but I just wonder whether that's something that he might look back on and think, okay, can I calm myself down a little bit more and be a little bit more relaxed himself?
89 points last season, 71, maximum 74 they can get, so potentially 15 or worse points off than last season. Is that because this season's the league is more competitive, or is this a dropout? Because last season, Arsenal, with that points tally, would have won the league.
Yeah. There's been plenty of cases of that over the year, hasn't there, where teams who finished second would have won the league, or at the bottom, teams would have been relegated. I read a stat the other day about Manchester United, who are on 39 points now, would have been relegated the year that Blackpool were in the league. Blackpool got relegated with 39 points, also had better goal difference So sometimes it's just the way the league falls and the way it happens. I do think there's been a drop-off from Arsenal. I do. I do think there's been an element where teams are taking more points off each other as well, because the gap is starting to close a little bit in terms of your... It's no longer the top four used to be done and dusted by this point. Now we've got a race where we've got six teams in it, 7 teams. So that's more competitive. Then the race for Europe as well is more competitive. So we are seeing that side of it.
Well, it's the idea, isn't it, that Bournemouth still got plenty to play for this season. They did the double over Arsenal, which in years gone by would have been unthinkable for a team going for the title.
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
Yeah, would have 100%. So there is a lot to look into. The quality of the big thing for me is the quality of managers coming in. I think that's one of the things. If you look at Iraola and what he's done at Bournemouth and the way he tactically sets himself up, most teams used to just sit back and would be happy to sit back and say, oh, if we get beat 3 or 4, we're quite content with that. We're almost playing within our own league. I think there's a feeling now that teams can compete. They can beat teams. They feel like they can go toe-to-toe with them. And I think that's the strengthening of the league.
Is it fair to say David Raya has improved this season? Is that fair to say? It kept them in the game, 13 clean sheets. Looks like he could get the award for the most clean sheets in a season, depending on what happens with Forest and Arsenal in the final game. How much does he deserve that Player of the Match award?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think he's been one of Arsenal's